everyone! So I worked in my art journal today and decided to do a Beauty and the Beast sort of kind of pages, I guess. So I'm making my left side the Beast side, or before Beauty came along, before he found love. So I wanted it kind of dark and kind of cold, like in the movie. It was winter there. So I figured I'd use like a purple color with that. And then for Beauty's side, the right side, after Beauty comes and they fall in love, I wanted it, sunshiny and happy. So I decided to use yellow with a little bit of it says Georgia peach color, because I didn't want it too yellow. So I wanted it kind of, muted a little bit. So on the left side will be Beast, and on the right side will be Beauty. So I'm just putting the paint on there. And then after the paint dried, I used a stencil in. Again, I wanted it dark on the Beast side, so I just put black paint on it. And on Belle's side, or Beauty's side, I put gold, and the gold turned out really pretty. I really liked the way the gold looked. Then I just stamped. I love this stamp, the script stamp. I love it, love it, love it. So I just used it all over and just used black ink on both pages because I kind of wanted it to stand out. And I kind of just kept stamping without re-inking it to give it a faded look. And then I put a clock stamp with that silver ink pigment, and you have to heat set it or it will smear. So that's what I was doing there. And then I just used a clock stamp, and was loading it with the grape jelly memento ink. And I had die cut out a clock, so I just glued those two pieces together. And then of course we have to have music, because nothing is lovely the music. And then I stamped All You Need Is Love and a few little hearts. There I'm stamping a teapot and a cup to represent Mrs. Potts and Chip, and just kind of going over it with my Stardust gel pen to kind of give it a little bling. And there I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put that. And now I liked this wall. There were two sets. One looked cracked and old, like how it looked before everything changed back. So I'm using the modeling clay or modeling paste to give it texture. And then on the other side, after they fall in love, it's the regular brick. So I'm putting those on there. Just trying to figure out where I'm going to set things. I'm going to put rose stamp, so I needed to put some gesso down because I did want to use watercolor on it, or water markers, and kind of use a watercolor effect on it. So I had put gesso on there. And then I cut out these cute little hearts, and one looked like it was a button, so I just used thread, embroidery thread, and thread it together like it was a button on there, and just use tape on the back just to keep it set on there. I thought that was super cute. And here I'm just taking black ink, the Tuxedo Memento ink, and using a brush just to kind of dust it on there. And now I'm using the matte glaze, or the matte medium, to adhere the clock die cut and the hearts onto the pages. And the ink did smear a little bit, which surprised me because I didn't think the Memento ink would smear, but it did just a tad, but I didn't mind. I thought it looked good. And there I'm dusting a little bit of that pink onto the bricks there, and I kind of didn't like it, but then I went over it with the gold, and I liked that a lot better. It looked like somebody had gotten murdered. So I had to put gold on it. It looked a lot better. And here I've cut out like little flower looking petals, and I'm just trying to see how they looked. And I also have a little bitty heart to put in the middle of them. I thought that looked cute. And again, I'm using the medium matte finish, or medium, sorry, to adhere it. And here I'm going to stamp the ink on, or the rose onto the gesso. And here I'm just coloring it in with watercolor markers, or not watercolor markers, they're, you know, markers that you can put water on, and it looks like watercolor. I don't know exactly what they're called, sorry. And there I'm using the green and yellow just to lighten it up. It was a little dark. Because I kind of still wanted the brown, because I stamped it in brown, because you know it's supposed to be dyeing, the rose is. So, and then I felt it was too pink, so I went back in with the red. And this was the only rose stamp that I could find, y'all, so that's why it looks like this and not like, you know, what they had in the movie, but it'll work. Y'all get it. And then I'm going to take a stamp and I'm coloring it with these same markers with the different colors, bright colors, because there are little flowers on it, and I'm going to put that on the beauty wall. And it didn't show up very well there, but I kind of liked it though, because of the texture of the wall. And then I was going to go through with brown, but then I thought, no, I'm just going to restamp it. And of course I didn't get it perfectly done, but that's okay. And here I'm going over the hearts with the pink, dusting it. I'm trying to get my purple to work to go around the gesso, but it didn't. So instead I just used that grape jelly ink that I had and a little bit of the black tuxedo and dusted it on it, which I liked that effect because, you know, the rose is supposed to be dying. So, and then I have another little stamp that I'm going to be using to put on Belle's side that's very just vibrant with a lot of little flowers on it and stuff. I just felt like it needed something else on that page. And then I'll stamp love on here. And then I'm trying to use these letters and I didn't like them, but it says tell as old. Then I just kind of went over the B side with like gray just to kind of set it in, like shadow it in. So that's what I'm doing there. Yeah, the lettering I did not like because I was going to put tell as old as time, but I didn't like the letters. So I've got to get new letters. So I'm trying to go over it a little bit so it comes out a little bit more. And then I just took water and kind of softened up the edges so that it wasn't so sharp. And then on Belle's side, I'm going to use stencil. Well, at first I tried to use these letters, and I realized I didn't have all the letters, and I couldn't find the other set, so I decided to not do that. So then I'm going to use a stencil instead and just write, oh, and there's my head, sorry. Write just beauty with the stencil. With a Sharpie. And then I went over the tell as old with like the white gel, and then I went over beauty with the Stardust clear pen, and as you can see it was giving me a hard time and didn't want to work. And then I kind of just put the little hearts just to give it a little shimmer. Then I went over beauty side with yellow just to try to, you know, shadow it. And then I'll take water and soften up those edges just like I did with the B side. And that's about it. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And to all my subscribers, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thanks, y'all. Bye.